The country is again exporting rice. The Department of Agriculture achieved this milestone under its food staples sufficiency program. One of the companies, SL Agritech, is a pioneer in developing the hybrid rice, which is expected to boost rice production to ensure self-sufficiency for the country by 2014. For the initial shipment of special varieties of rice, it has developed and exported 20 tons of Japonica rice. And joining us tonight for NewsLife is Mr. Henry Lim Bong Liong, Chairman of SL Agritech Corporation. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Robert.
Sir, you are the pioneer in promoting the development of the hybrid rice since 2000. Since then, your work has benefited the country's rice production. Now, what kind of partnership did you develop with the Department of Agriculture to promote the hybrid rice for your farmers?
You know, Robert, I started hybrid rice as early as 1998. And then, of course, I came out with a good variety in 2001. And then in 2002 to 2004, during the previous administration, actually they go 100% support on hybrid rice. That's why we were able to increase the planting of hybrid rice from 0 hectares to around 200,000 hectares. And then from there, I think we were able to help a lot of farmers. And the government has been always been in support of hybrid rice ever since.
So can you tell us a little bit about this hybrid rice? How do you grow it, and how did you come up with this?
You know, hybrid rice is being developed by China. And of course, Erie is also in the forefront of trying to develop a good hybrid rice varieties. And then, you know, hybrid rice before, you can only plant it in temperate region, at certain degrees above the equator. It's difficult to produce a hybrid rice for the tropical countries. But I think our company was able to do it in 2001. So hybrid rice is just a mixture of two good rice varieties, and then when you blend it together or you really cross it together, you can produce 10 to 17 tons per hectare as compared to ordinary inbred of only 3 tons per hectare. So it's high yielding and it's also a good variety.
So with these developments, has it increased their production, and what is the average yield of farmers using hybrid seeds?
You know, before hybrid seeds is in the market, farmers used to only produce around 3 tons per hectare. In fact, the national average is only 2.9 tons per hectare during the Estrada administration. But when during the advent of hybrid rice, we were able to increase the national average from 2.9 tons to around 3.8 tons per hectare, with measly only 5% of our total hectare is planted to hybrid. But of course, hybrid can go as high as 17 tons per hectare.
So it's for farmers to plant hybrid rice?
Although the seeds is a little bit more expensive now, but in the long run it's really cheaper, because if you produce 10 tons compared to 3 tons per hectare, and the arithmetic is very simple. No? I mean, for farmers, especially in Nueva Ecija, who has been planting hybrid rice for the past 6 to 7 years already, if they produce 10 tons per hectare, they sell the palay at around 17 to 18 pesos per kilo. So they have a gross of around 170,000 to 180,000 pesos. And the input and lahat ng abono nila, it's not going to cost them even more than 50,000. So they make around 130,000 to 140,000 pesos per hectare in a span of only 4 months, compared to 15,000 to 20,000 pesos before using ordinary inbred.
So now let's go to the rice which you are exporting. It's the Japonica variety. This is a special variety. How is this from the ordinary rice that we have?
Actually, the Japonica varieties come after, I think after 2004. We were able to come out with a good tasting variety. Japonica is an acronym of jasmine and Japonica rice. Because if you like to eat the Japanese rice, which is short grain, soft and glutinous, but there's no aroma at all. And if you like to eat the jasmine rice from Thailand, which is long grain with aroma, but it's a little bit hard. So this is a combination, long grain with aroma and soft and glutinous, and that's why I call it Japonica. I think we have advertised this as the best tasting rice in the Philippines, probably in the whole world. And so far, I don't think everybody was able to contest us for that.
So you named this premium quality rice after your mother. Why is that so?
You know, my mother was the person behind me into this agriculture. You know, our company, we have a lot of, of course, Sterling Paper is the flagship company. But then my mother has a foresight now. And what SL Agritech is today is because of my mother. And my mother, sadly, of course, she died in a car accident in 2000. So in order to always remember my mother, I named the rice after my mother, Doña Maria. And of course, she was born here, she's from Paco.
Sir, now going back to the goal of Secretary Alcala of attaining self-sufficiency in rice by 2014, this commitment is a commitment by President Aquino. Do you think this will happen?
Actually, we are exported rice already today. But then even a few years ago, our rice has been exported, although not directly, but through a lot of jobbers. You can find our rice in the supermarket shelves in Toronto, Canada. You can also find it in Kazakhstan and other countries. But this is the first time that rice is officially exported because through, of course, the intervention of Secretary Alcala in the Department of Agriculture, who has really give us full support in the exportation of rice. The first shipment is to Dubai. Hopefully, there will be other shipments to other countries in the future.
Sir, and a final word from you for those who are not too familiar with hybrid rice.
Also, the hybrid rice, a lot of people misconstrue hybrid rice as a GMO rice. Hybrid rice is never GMO. And hybrid rice has been, we've been eating hybrid fruits, hybrid vegetable, hybrid corn for practically hundreds or thousands of years already. So hybrid rice is perfectly okay, and hybrid rice will really help our farmers increase their yield, help our farmers increase their standard of living, and of course help our country become self-sufficient.
Okay, on that note, thank you very much for joining us tonight here at News. Mr. Henry Lim Bong Liong, Chairman of SL Agritech Corporation.
Thank you, Robert. Yeah, thank you.